Okay folks, so in this video I'm going to go over the pull, and one of our pulls is a snatch. So if you are okay taking a bell overhead, then the snatch will be the pull that you'll perform. If you are less comfortable for whatever reason going overhead, just do a clean. So that's the first event that we're going to do, the first lift that we're going to do at the community lift up is the snatch or the clean if you want a non-overhead option. So for the snatch, we're going to go over 3 different starts and 3 different styles. But before we do that, we're going to talk about what it is. So the snatch essentially takes the bell from the floor to overhead in one movement, not stopping at the shoulder. So you can do this a number of ways. You can do it in a hard style approach, which is what a lot of people are familiar with when it comes to kettlebell training. You can do it in a gear avoid sport approach, which is another more familiar approach to kettlebell training. Or you can do it in sort of a kettle weightlifting style, which is the style I espouse especially for heavy weights. But essentially, it's up to you. So too is where you start. So you can start with the bell right between the feet. This is called a dead start. And you can pull the bell to overhead. However you get the bell overhead, we're going to practice the half snatch at the community lift up. So the half snatch means you're up overhead in one motion, but you're back down to the floor in 2. First, bringing the bell to the shoulder, then bringing it back down to the floor. Now, if you elect to, you can do both hands on the weight ladder, or you can go through the weight ladder with one hand and then take rest, let somebody else go, and then come in and do the second hand. Or you can do all the lifts with one arm, it doesn't matter to me. The other dead start position is actually to have the bell behind you. And this puts you in a little bit lower start position, but it does provide a pretty decent amount of power to then take the bell overhead. Once again, we're coming down in 2 movements though. Rack, and then park. So we've got the dead start that can come from either between the feet or behind you. We've got the snatch to overhead, and then rack and park. Now, the finishing position that I was in was more resemblant of a hard style snatch, but there are a couple of different finishing positions. However, there's also one more start position. There's a hike where you can backswing the bell between the legs first, then pull to overhead. So staying low, I'm going to backswing and then pull to overhead. So the hard style snatch is all about speed, tension, and this strong vertical plank at lockout. Then rack, backswing, and park. So that's what we're going to do if you're a little bit, if you're just getting started, the half snatch is the way to go. That's the way we'll just run it in the event. The gear avoid snatch is a little bit more fluid, and it tends to take the bell in a bigger arc around the body on the way up. I'm not a kettlebell sports specialist, but I can give a rough approximation of this, which I'm going to demonstrate from the side. First, I'm going to show you the hard style snatch from the side. You can see that the bell stays close to the body as it goes up. Rack, actually. In GS, there's a little bit more leg extension on the hike. So I'm going to kind of get the bell going by standing out of this a little bit. And then it's a little bit more fluid to get the bell over to the overhead. Now we'll still just be doing 1 rep per weight, unless you want to just check a bell out and go over to the corner and have yourself a little snatch party. That's fine too. And for folks who are familiar with GS or want to practice in GS style, it's definitely all about repetition and not about heavy weights. Speaking of heavy weights, we also have the kettle weightlifting approach, which borrows heavily from barbell weightlifting and the technique that's used there. So the pull can be either dead or you can backswing it, whichever you like. But big belly breath, I'm gonna hold it like I'm lifting a heavy barbell overhead. And then squat under a little bit to catch. Now that squat under can be in the form of a windmill position like what I have here. Or if you have a little bit more shoulder mobility, a squat under. For me, the windmill catch feels more natural. I don't have that overhead shoulder mobility to catch in a squat. So that's the snatch. 3 starts. You've got dead with the bell between the feet, dead with the bell behind the feet, or a backswing to start. 3 styles. Hard style, rack, backswing, park. GS, rack, rack. And then you've got the kettle weightlifting approach with a catch either in a windmill or an overhead squat position. In any case, it's a half snatch, up in 1 phase, down in 2. So that's the snatch. Here we go.